And a happy Saturday morning to everyone. Welcome to TikTok Live. Have fun interacting with your viewers in real time. Creators must be 18 or older to go live. As I've said, I am actually a little past 18 for the third time, so I have no problem there. Remember to create a safe viewing experience by following our community guidelines, and we know what that means. It means don't you dare say anything bad about our paid advertisers. Oh, and no naughty words either. Yeah, that's definitely where TikTok's priorities lie. So, nonetheless, as the title says here, we are making a cake this morning. I've been invited to a baby shower this afternoon, so I'm preparing a cake for it. Nice and simple. And what's more, I'm going to do the entire cake batter in this one single bowl, this single mixing bowl for the mixer. Well, with the exception of one other bowl, I'm going to need to crack the eggs. But otherwise, there's really nothing to it. And that's why we're going to start with 2 cups of flour. And yeah, I'm sifting the flour, especially to keep it nice and light and to mix some air into it. You know all those sitcoms where supposedly the dad, who is always stupid, ruins and destroys the entire kitchen trying to make a cake for his wife? This is so easy that, quite frankly, yeah, I've learned since just how unrealistic that can be. Unless you want it to be, of course. And here we just need to add 2 cups of sugar, and normally we use white sugar, but in this case, let me move this out of the way. I'll be using brown sugar. Well, yeah, kind of a contrast to the sifted flour, I will agree there. Let's dig out a half cup and do 4 cups of brown sugar. Brown sugar, of course, gives the cake a more fudgy type of flavor, which is really what we're looking for. 1, that's a half cup. 2, 3, and 4. All right. That takes care of most of the dry ingredients. Now from here, each. Okay, now all we have to do is 1 teaspoon each of baking powder, baking soda, and baking salt. Well, just salt, actually. I said that to be funny. 1 teaspoon baking powder. I'm going to be mixing all of this up in my stand mixer, so that's one reason why I'm doing this all in one bowl. Okay, so we've got 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt. 1, 1, and 1. And that is it for the dry ingredients. That shows you how easy this is. Now, on to the wet ingredients. And here's where I do cheat a little bit and use a second bowl for cracking the eggs. That's because I don't want to get any shell in the actual cake. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that is why I did it in a separate bowl. So you try to use the shell to get the shell, because when you use your finger, the shell runs away, and when you just use another shell, it doesn't. So there we go. So now it's back here again. Plop. Now from here, we have 1 cup of buttermilk, which is coming out right now. Oh yeah, nuts. I did forget the one important dry ingredient as well. Somehow I seem to have missed that. And that, of course, is a cup of cocoa powder. All right, this is a 1/4 cup. So here's 1. Come on. Poof. 2. Let's see how I've missed this in the dry ingredients. After all, it is a chocolate cake. But I guess I just went a little too quickly. My bad. Almost 3, and fact, I do believe we have just enough. Okay, so there we go. There's our chocolate. Here we have one other special ingredient, and that would be coffee, hot coffee. Yeah, why not use the coffee maker and make it? Because I didn't want to waste another coffee filter and then have to clean it out. This should be just about 1 cup. Yes, it is. Okay. That was nice and easy. 1 cup of hot coffee. 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil or canola oil, because that helps to keep the cake moist. All right. One and there we go. That takes care of that. That's how easy it is to make homemade chocolate cake batter. Alright. So now that we've done that much, just a tiny bit more, but I do have one other thing to show you folks, and that actually requires a trivet. Alright, let's straighten this out because now we have, because as said, I have heated a cast iron cake pan to 425 degrees, and it is coming out of the oven right now. But large cast iron fluted cake pan. This is a method that I developed that has given me a great deal of success. Not 100% success, but a very high success rate. The times when it didn't succeed were little adventures in themselves. And with that, as you can see, I'm simply melting Crisco in this blazing hot pan. And what I'm doing is simply spreading out this melted oil over every inch of the inside of the pan. Yeah, this is kind of like the same way when you make cornbread. You want to get your hot oil into the pan, trying to be sure I get all around the top here, and the edges in particular. Here comes the batter, and voila. The other thing I have to be careful is when using this cake pan, I have this habit of pouring batter down the center hole, and I don't want that to happen again. Nonetheless, there we go. And a 1, a 2, a 3. In we go. Bam. And the last thing we have to do is turn the oven temperature down. Turn the oven temperature down from 425 to 350. And with that, we just let this bake for 50 minutes. The cake is in the oven. Now I just have to lick the bowl and then clean up my mess so that in about 50 minutes, the cake will come out of the oven. Goodbye. All right, welcome back to part 2 of chocolate cake. And it has been 50 minutes and the cake is about to come out of the oven. Oh yes. That's why I love making these things in cast iron. This thing always looks like a big giant donut when it comes out of the oven like this. And now, of course, the skewer test. And of course, no problem at all. Yes, indeed. All right, so there we go. It took 50 minutes to bake this cake in this cast iron pan. And I'm going to be waiting 20 minutes, at which point then will come the real moment of truth, flipping the cake out of the pan. However, we are now at the point where we have to do the most suspenseful part of making this cake, the flip. Because the question, as always, is, did this cake stick in the pan or not? And of course, there is only one way to find out. So we loosen it as best as we can, and then we find a way to flip it. All right, there we go. Now, the thing I like to do is put some handles on this, and I believe they mentioned that, what if there was another way to do it, but I can't think of another way. Okay, so, because this should make it easier to lift the pan up. However, I've got to be sure these things don't fall off as I'm flipping it. So, it means I've got to pull this good and tight. And be sure I don't burn myself because the pan is still warm. It only came out of the oven about 20 minutes ago. All right, so let's move this out of the way. Hold on to this good and tight. And be sure, there we go. And, aha! Well, that worked better than the last time, I'll say that much. There we go. Now, all right, now that we've done that, I should center this, and no time like the present, either it's going to work or it's not. That means, here we go, a 1, a 2, 3, ha-ha! Perfect. Well, nearly perfect anyway. But yeah, there we go. This is why I love using this cast iron cake pan to make a cake. Here is our chocolate cake that we will be presenting to at a baby shower this afternoon. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this. That means I've got to let this thing cool off as fast as I can. Maybe I should put it in the fridge, in fact, because the baby shower is in just about 3 hours from now. So I think I better stick this in the fridge, and maybe an hour or so we'll be able to frost it. This chocolate cake was baked in a cast iron cake pan, and it turned out great. However, once again, I ruined the glaze for the cake. That meant it was time for an emergency backup cake glaze. Just peel the cover from a container of frosting, microwave it for 40 seconds, and pour it over the cake.